Greetings, everyone. Cheesed to see you again for another episode of Blade Bias. Don't worry, I'm not actually flipping the cheese. I only brought it out for that awful pun. I am actually flipping this thing, which the engraving inside, if you guys could even see that, gives away, if the title didn't already, what we're going to be talking about today, because I cannot believe that I can say this, but Blade Show is this weekend. As I'm filming this, I will be leaving for Blade Show in like 2 to 3 days. As you're watching this, Blade Show will be about 2 to 3 days away. It's pretty crazy, Blade Show being like the culminating event for this hobby. It's the thing that most people are excited for, whether it be East, West, or Texas. And East kind of generally being like the biggest of the shows with the most maker presence and community presence. Content creators, highly skilled flippers, whatever niche in the community there is, they're probably going to be there in force at Blade Show East. And it's the show that I personally go to every year since my first time back in 2022, and this year will be no different. So in case you haven't been aware, I am going to Blade Show this year. You will see me there. And it is very, very exciting. So I wanted to make this video to give you some tips and tricks, whether you are a first-time Blade Show attendee or someone who's been going there for a few years now. I think there's going to be something in this video for everyone. Just some things that I really want people to be aware of going into the show, and some things just for the people that will see me there. Whatever the case may be, we're going to talk about Blade Show here. First of all, you might notice, looks a little different over here. I now have 2 cases because it turns out the foam is destroyed in the old one. I'm sure you've seen. In fact, let me just show you what this case looks like now. This is NSFW. Yeah, it doesn't look great. The foam in here was destroyed. I decided to rip it all out. I promise you this case does not normally look like this, but in moving it to set up this case, it became a hot mess that I'm just going to close that, and we're just going to forget that we saw that. What I'm actually bringing to the show is this right here. And you'll notice that this case is a little less dense than the case that I used to have, because I've intentionally shortened down the amount of ballast songs that I can bring, both for mental sanity of keeping track of everything, weight, delicacy of the foam, because the foam has just fallen apart. By the way, if you do see me at Blade Show, you can flip my ballast songs. Please just ask me first so that I'm aware of what ballast songs are where. The one thing that I ask you guys, please just be careful with the foam. Previous years, I've done ballast songs that way so that people don't stab themselves when they reach into my case. But when you pull these out, especially when you have a bunch of people pulling them out all at the same time, because the thicker part of the ballast song is on the bottom, probably be better to show you with something that actually has a wider handle gap. But when I pull the Vulp out, there is a lot of friction there, which is the reason all of the foam started to disintegrate from just so many people going in and out like that. So I'm going to be having them upside down like this. All I ask is that if you take them out, just be nice on the foam. I don't want to have to replace the foam again, because replacing the foam was literally only marginally cheaper than buying a whole new case, which is why I bought a whole new case. So I need to get going on that custom foam insert. And I probably will get a custom foam insert for the old case to just have like an at-home case that holds literally as many ballast songs as possible. And then it doesn't move anywhere, so it doesn't matter how fragile the foam is. All of that to say, this is what I'm bringing. I've got like the whole Nibali's line, well, most of the Nibali's line. I've got a bunch of LDY stuff, some machine-wise stuff. If there's anything in here that you don't see, that you know is in my collection, and that I haven't sold, and you will be at Blade Show and you've been dying to flip that thing, leave a comment down below. I can't promise that I will be able to bring it, but I will do my best. If there's a few repeats that people are really excited to try that I haven't put in there already, let me know. But I've included things that are a little more obscure. I've got like newer things like the aluminum Superfly. I've got more obscure and old things like the old Sirius. Limited time things like the Corvus or the Sliff T. Really weird things like the Frank. or the Osprey from Oddly Designed. Was this thing called the Osprey? I think it was. So if there's anything in there that you guys don't see that you really want to try, let me know. I'll do my best. Again, no promises, but that is enough talk about my case. Let's talk about Blade Show. So first and foremost, the most important thing that I can tell my audience, please do not be afraid to come up and talk to me, because every year I will inevitably, and actually I can't say every year because I don't think I got one of these messages last year, which is why I'm saying this again. I will inevitably get a message that says, oh, I was too nervous to come up and talk to you, or you looked busy, or whatever. And that always breaks my heart. I promise I am more scared of you than you are scared of me. I'm not the most socially capable person in the world, no matter how confidently I talk in these videos. I promise you, you're okay. You're in good company if you're a little bit awkward in a conversation. It will be fine. The one thing that I ask is just, let's have our social skills kind of, in play here. If it looks like I'm just super busy, or I'm filming something, or I'm otherwise engaged with something else, maybe give me a second. If you don't have a second, that's fine. I understand. But I will do my best to be free for people to talk and maybe try something in my collection that they want to try. Now, general rules of the show. The biggest thing that I can stress to you going into Blade Show this year, because it's always a problem with the balisong community. Guys, we need to stay out of doorways and we need to stay out of walkways. It is a hugely important thing. It happens every year. I'm guilty of it myself. I know it's difficult. You got a conversation starting that just happens to be in front of a doorway, and then groups form because people come over and talk to other people. Just, if you're in that situation, try to have the awareness to say, hey guys, we're in front of an exit. Let's move. The exits are one way, so you can't come into the show, like into the hall, except through the main entranceway. Definitely don't block that one, but don't block the outer halls either, and don't block the walkways. Ultimately, Blade Show is about selling product, and we don't want to be annoying vendors by steering people away from booths by standing in front of them and just talking and not engaging with the knives on the desk. There are specific at least there should be, there were the past few years, like Squid Industries gets a whole booth where you can just kind of sit and out of the way, and it's great and it's awesome. Just don't block the doors. Security will get mad at us for that. They have gotten mad at us for that in the past, and we really don't want balisongs to be the black sheep of Blade Show, where everyone's like, oh, those are the trouble kids that always cause a problem and impede the flow of traffic and blah, 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 blah. It's probably the most important tip that I could give you going into Blade Show. Another important tip I could give you going into Blade Show is, if you have a collection, make sure you know your collection inside and out. Be able to spot when something's missing so that you can hopefully track it down before it gets lost, accidentally taken away in someone's pockets, or worst of all, stolen. That would really suck. Thankfully, we haven't had a ton of that happening, but usually if something does get stolen from someone's collection, word travels around the show pretty fast. And most of the cases that I remember at least hearing about, they have been found. So just keep an eye on your stuff. And if you're trying something from someone's collection, you can help out with that by just asking the person, hey, can I flip this? Yes, you can. Great. Okay. Now the person knows, hey, this person's flipping the cat. You have the cat. I personally would stay away from, if someone comes up to you and says, hey, can I try that? Don't just give it to them. Help the person who owns the balisong keep track of where their balisong is. So ask the person, hey, can this person try it? Or have the person who wants to try it ask the actual owner of it. Don't pass around people's knives without them knowing about it, is generally a good rule of thumb to go by. Similarly, if you're going to put it back, just kind of show that you're putting it back and then ask to go for something else. Or if someone tells you, free reign, okay, try what you want, one at a time. I think it's good etiquette to go up to someone's collection. They say, hey, try whatever you want. You're good. Okay, pick this up. flip it. Okay, put it back. Now that I put it back, I've gotten my token back. Now I'm going to spend that token on something else and get my token back and try it something else. Again, we just want to make it super easy for the collection owners to keep track of where their stuff is so that it doesn't get lost or stolen. And any way that you can help out with that, especially for me personally, would be very appreciated. That being said, try stuff. Blade Show is all about trying stuff. For me, the hobby didn't really open up until I went to Blade Show and experienced all of these different balisongs that I never even could comprehend before. Things like the Kraken, the Seraph, the Tsunami. There were a lot of balisongs that I had no idea what they even flipped like or felt like in the hand before Blade Show. And then once I did, it kind of unlocked a new world of flipping for me. I understood new things about balance or weight distribution, or more importantly, what I like in different balisongs. Now, it is a very overwhelming space. I talk a lot on this channel about balisongs that I've tried at Blade Show but didn't really get a full picture of. So now I'm excited to try them in the comfort of my own home. So to that end, you're not going to get a full, you're not going to remember exactly how everything flips, but just make some like quick little bullet points in your head. Hey, I'm flipping the Sasori. Oh, wow, it fans very interestingly. There's not a ton of handle weight, but I'm not struggling with rollovers very much. That's pretty cool. I like that or I don't like that. Quick little bullet points that you can associate with the balisong will help you remember the sea of balisongs that you will try over the weekend, because it can get quite overwhelming quite fast if you start to mentally review every single balisong you pick up, because I promise you're not going to remember much of it. What helped me a ton my first year was actually taking out my phone and writing down, I think I did 4 bullet points per balisong, 2 things I liked about it and 2 things I didn't like about it. So that when I went back and I read that later, it almost transported me back in time to flipping that balisong, remembering making that list, making those bullet points, and it helped me remember how things flipped quite a bit more. Now that's only if you're really trying to absorb all the information that you can. If you're just going to experience some balisongs, don't worry about taking notes, just enjoy some balisongs, man. The best part of Blade Show is sitting down with someone you've really never talked to before, flipping knives with them, and just chatting with them, whether it's about balisongs, whether it's about some other hobby that you guys have realized that you share. It is so easy to waste away the entire... I shouldn't say waste. Waste is a bad word to use, but you know what I mean. To spend the entire weekend just talking with people instead of going to booths and buying things and trying things. The social aspect of it is really, really what comes out as something that stands out to me after the show is over. I mean, I know a lot of people who go to Blade Show and come out of it with someone else in the community that they're like, oh, I really want to talk to that person more. Or I feel like I'm much better friends with that person than I was before. Most of my close balisong friends, I would not be as close with if it weren't for Blade Show. So definitely take advantage of that. People are usually really, really easy to talk to there, especially because the most difficult thing about conversation in random, high school or whatever, is not being able to find a common interest. Because a lot of people are really easy to talk to once you start talking about the things that they're interested in. And the beautiful thing about Blade Show is that we have a collective social buff. It's like our passive ability, because everyone there is also interested in balisongs. It gets really easy to talk to people as long as you're, a normal functioning human being. Because, every community has their share of assholes. Thankfully, I've never really encountered many at Blade Show, but I've heard stories of some abrasive people being there. So it's not something you should worry about, but definitely be open to talking to new people and to joining a flipping group and just kind of hanging out with people, because that's kind of the magic of it. You go to Blade Show and you can't walk 3 feet without meeting someone else that you want to talk to. And then you stand and talk to them, and then a circle forms around you, and then suddenly you've got people passing balisongs back and forth. It's really a magical experience. And if it's your first time going, I hope you enjoy it. try to keep some of the things that we've talked about in this video in mind. If I think of anything else, I'm going to leave them, if I think of it, in the comments section below, because obviously this isn't like a complete guide. There are plenty of other YouTubers. Oh, nope, this is a huge one. Live blades. Let's watch our live blades, people. In fact, this one should have been at the beginning of the video. This is probably the single most important thing that I could stress. If you are flipping a live blade, make sure you're not in a crowd of people where you're going to drop it on their feet. Heaven forbid, drop it on like a child or something that's walking through the halls. Try not to flip live blades in the walkways in general, because you've got a lot of people moving very unpredictably. It's a very crowded place. So maybe let's stick to the trainers while we're in the walkways. I'm not going to tell you what to do, but just be careful with it. The last thing we want is Balisong people getting kicked out because they dropped a knife into someone's foot and sent them to the ER. We don't want that. Let's avoid it. Just be careful. I know you're all capable flippers, but everyone drops it eventually. So just make sure that if you do drop it, you're dropping it in a place where you know where it's going and that you have a little bit of control over. That's the most important thing. Also, just flipping in the walkways in general, it's just swinging this thing around. Like if you're walking around, maybe keep it to a minimum. Although we're Balisong people, we flip wherever we go. In fact, you can walk around Blade Show and you'll hear the clicking of Balisongs all around you, and you'll be able to hone in on one of them. Even in the main like giant room of Blade Show, you'll hear the Balisongs, you'll hone in on them, and you'll go find a flipper that you can talk to. So, all that being said, if it's your first time at Blade Show, I hope you enjoy it. Come say hi, or go say hi to any other content creator or flipper that you admire, anything like that. We're all just normal people. We all just want to talk, I promise. We don't bite. At least a majority of us don't. So come hang out. And if it's not your first Blade Show, I hope it's as good or even better than any of the other ones that you've gone to. I'm personally hoping that this will be the best one yet. We'll see how that goes. Thank you all so much for watching this video. And safe travels to Blade Show. If you're not going to Blade Show, I'll have content on this channel at the normal times. I'm thinking maybe a Flip the Script episode while I'm gone to hold you guys over. So we'll see how that goes. No promises. But until then, I'll see you guys in the next one. Later. Oh, also, if you have any tips for new Balisong people to Blade Show, leave them in the comments so that other people can read through them. Okay, thanks. Bye.